Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is Mario. Welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to create this clean and simple 3D text in Photoshop. And honestly, it's a lot more simple than people think, and I've used it in a couple of designs. I'm using it for my Night Shift pack, and I used it in the header for Cade. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Alright, so first thing you want to do is type out your text. I'm just going to write text and then here. Which is super simple. I'm going to center it to my canvas. By the way, I'm using a 1920 by 1080p canvas in 300 dpi. And we're going to duplicate the text layer, rasterize it, then hide the first text layer because we're going to use that as a backup just in case something goes wrong here. Never does, but just in case. So we're going to just grab our marquee tool and select the top where it says text, hit layer via cut. I'm going to rename the layers. So this one's going to be text. This one is going to be here. And now we're going to select both layers, hit Control T to transform, right click, perspective, and then drag out one of the corners until it hits 5 degrees. Hit OK. And now we're going to work on our gradients and just the top layer style. And we'll come back to this because there's something we got to do after the 3D extrusion part. So double click on top layer, gradient overlay. I'm going to use this gradient here. It's sort of like a bluish, sort of white to gray type thing. I'll give you the hex codes here. So the first one is E5 F0 F6. The second one is 929 DA3. So just press OK, and now we have our gradient. So I'm going to add an inner shadow to the top on 90 degrees, 4 distance, and then just overlay on 100 opacity. I don't know why, but it just looks really nice. It makes it look like a light is coming from the top. Adds some depth to the design. And you know, I think I'm going to add another inner glow or inner shadow to the bottom. I'm going to use my shadow color, which is 202023. I'm going to have it set to -90, so it's on the bottom. Put on multiply. I'm just going to leave it at 4, same thing. I'm just going to drop the opacity a bit, probably to about 10. Make the size 4, just so it's soft a little bit. Actually, no. 0. Keep it at 0. Next, I'm going to do a satin. Increase the distance, play with the angle a little bit. This is really dependent on your text and how you want it to look. I'm going to play with the contour because sometimes this gives you some really good looks. I think my favorite one was Gaussian. Yeah, Gaussian looks nice. Just going to increase this. Just going to lower the opacity just a bit. It gives it like a slight kind of metallic sort of feel to it. We'll put on 14. Alright, and then you could just copy this layer style and paste it to the bottom one. And then just change the gradient if you want a color. So I'm going to go with a color. Let's see which one I want. I think I'm going to go with a yellow because that looks kind of cool. And pretty much the layer style is already done. So now just take your 2 layers, Control J to duplicate, Control E to merge, drag this to the bottom. Hit Control U, go to the lightness, -60, and now just duplicate and bring it down. So down arrow, duplicate, and then so on. And just keep going until you like it. I'm going to put it there, merge these. Now I'm going to add an inner shadow, which is actually a shadow for this one. Pretty much the same settings as the top. I'm going to put it on 22 size. And then a little inner glow just to give it some pop on the sides. Put it at about 4. Then I'm going to add a satin just to give it like sort of a shadow type look. So it looks like it has shading, but it really doesn't. I'm going to put it at about 60 and just leave it as the same. And now going back to the top layers, I'm going to group them and put a layer style on the group. And this is just going to be like a little shadow for the top text just to separate it from the extrusion just a little bit. I'm going to put the distance at about 3 and then put the size also to about 3 and then just drop the opacity to about 40. That looks good. And then click OK, and that's pretty much your text. You know, it looks nice, it's simple, it's clean. I've used it for a couple of my designs. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you have a suggestion for any future tutorials, drop it in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you for watching. In the trunk, yeah. Shorty wanna fuck, but I'm busy getting bucks. If you know my fucking name, you know my music bumps. If you hate my fucking shit, you a mother.
motherfucking chump. Hey, ooh, yeah, damn, Billy stay high like a kite. Yeah, bitch, I blew up overnight. Yeah, you know the world around town. Hey, my diamonds bright like I light. Yeah, my music different, I'm right. Hey, my music different, I'm right. Yeah, who the fuck else sounds like this? Hey, my music different, I'm right.